This person experienced a spontaneous spiritual awakening when they met you that also coincided with an experience of love at first sight, although they might feel a little bit uncomfortable using that word love to describe something that is an entirely new feeling. It's like the word love is just too little for what is happening. Feels like this is somebody who is getting a lot of downloads. They have had visions of past lives that you've shared with one another. A lot has surfaced within this person in terms of wounds, both ancestral wounds that they are living out as the embodiment of part of their family tree, and wounds that have surfaced through different experiences that they have had in this lifetime with previous lovers. All of these feelings, all of these emotions, these flashbacks, these memories are coming up within this person in order to feel it and heal it, in order to face it in some sort of way, to release those energies that may have even been dwelling within the subconscious within this person, in order to clear space and align themselves energetically for what comes next between the two of you. This is somebody who keeps their eye on you even in times where there is silence or they pull back a little bit energetically. This is not a reading for those of you who are in no contact or someone has ghosted, they've run away, you haven't heard from them in a very long time. This is the energy of somebody that, you may have times where you're communicating a lot, you're having a lot of interactions, and times where they become a bit still. They become a bit distant. They become a bit quiet. You should be able to feel into that energy. Maybe this is even somebody who has expressed that to you, has opened up a little bit about that. You've started talking about spirituality or some of the experiences that they've had, maybe a lot of synchronicity, signs, things that it feels like were very unexpected, very outside of this person's comfort zone, but they're doing their best to keep up with that. It feels like this is something that this person now, ever since having met you, not only have they gone through this spontaneous spiritual awakening that is affecting kind of like the potential between the two of you, the interactions, both what they're capable of and sort of like able to sustain or kind of take in as far as those exchanges with you, and also what they're looking forward towards in the future. But it's something that has also caused them to sort of question other areas of their life, how they've been living up to this point in time, goals and dreams that they had, belief systems, things that they took for granted, things that they were kind of just falling in line with because it was what they were taught, it's what everyone else around them is doing. This is somebody that is now looking at everything in their life through this microscope, through this kind of newly equipped sight that is sharpening within this person's psychic gifts that are activating, that are causing them to sort of look at themselves beyond the limitedness of their identity, their ego within this lifetime. This is somebody who is starting to look at that concept of being a spiritual being, having a human experience. Maybe they've heard of that idea before, but it didn't really make sense to them. Ever since connecting with you, and what has happened in terms of this awakening within them, they're starting to get that. They're starting to understand that more. This is somebody who is focusing on mindfulness in a way that they might have counted their blessings or been, grateful for things going well in their life. But this is somebody that is now paying attention to little details within themselves, in circumstances around them, people, places, and things. This is somebody who recognizes like big shifts are necessary. Things need to be sort of cleared out in order to make space for the new, both in terms of what is possible between the two of you moving forward romantically, but this is also somebody who recognizes and understands that on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, it's like they've been called into this higher awareness than they ever thought was possible, than had been like a priority. It was nothing they had focused on before. Try as they might now, it's like they can't sort of shut down this mechanism that has been activated within them. So this energy definitely encourages you to be patient with this person as they are trying to navigate some kind of process of like spiritual alignment, spiritual awakening that is happening within them, while also trying to kind of like keep up with and be very enthusiastic about what comes next in romance with you. This is somebody that wants to walk alongside you in the experience in an earthly sense of a higher level love. And so, in order to do that properly, this is somebody that needs to kind of like get up to speed within themselves in terms of those energies and how it manifests within them. For some of you, for a lot of you, you might have already been on a spiritual path, different spiritual journey, had different spiritual experiences prior to meeting this person. And so it's almost like you're holding space. You're anchoring in that higher frequency. You are operating as the light for this individual at this point in time as their frequency is raising, in the physical 3D self, the life that they're living, and also maybe how their body is kind of like taking this, is processing all of that. That is something where the intention for this person is like, yeah, I want to be right there, right alongside you, but material reality is a little slower to catch up. So this is somebody that definitely looks towards you, not just as the prize, like the person that they want to have romance with, but you are definitely the guiding light for this person at this particular point in time as they are stretching beyond their limits, beyond concepts and themes that had kind of dictated the terms of their reality for quite some time, until you walked into it and changed everything in an instant. We also have manifest. Yeah, so this is somebody that wants a future with you. They want more in this connection. And it feels like this is somebody who is now navigating through some shadowy territory inside of themselves. Fears have surfaced and they've had to kind of just hold tight and let those fears pass. Triggers, wounds have come to the surface, and it feels like this person has done a very excellent job of like feeling it in order to heal it. This is not somebody who's running away. This is not somebody who's numbing out. This is somebody who is trusting in the process that their heart wants what the heart wants, and the heart wants you. But in order to kind of get to that place where they're aligned, mind, body, soul, spirit, and emotions, to be able to exchange with you in an equitable way, in a higher frequency capacity than they were used to or were expecting, that this is something that it requires them to kind of offload a lot of those heavy, energetic kind of like echoes of past experiences, or, even kind of ancestral wounds, generational trauma that they are, kind of, it's been bestowed upon them as a legacy. It was sort of part of their upbringing, or circumstances that have manifested within them. It's played out in their life. This is somebody who's looking into things like that. They're recognizing their inner child wounds. They are looking at kind of like trust issues left over from past breakups, circumstances where they're now able to see from a clear perspective what not to do in the relationship with you moving forward, because they see what was unsuccessful with previous people, like darker aspects of their personality, fear-based patterns, and kind of like impulses that had acted as a disadvantage to the success of previous relationships. So this is somebody that's doing a lot of work behind the scenes in order to prepare themselves to receive on a deeper level from you, to be able to give and to exchange on a deeper level with you. This is somebody that it feels like they are wrestling with pride and ego at this particular point in time, as they are learning to kind of navigate through experiences that require self-forgiveness, trusting that, the two of you, what you have with one another, can be different from their failings in love in the past, or times where they were very hopeful and ended up in a circumstance of heartbreak. This is somebody that does not want to miss the opportunity with you. But they also recognize that this requires something more than just being like brave and asking you out on a date. It requires something more than, stating their intentions, talking about their feelings, holding space for you to express your needs, wants, and desires. That there is something deeper within them that is needing to rise to the surface in order to be able to kind of sustain contact with you, and not just like, so that their interest is piqued, but on an energetic level, there's something within them that is very aware and recognizes that this is a time period where they need to like raise that frequency. The material self and the life that they're living needs to make certain adjustments in order to acclimate to that very bold and very high level frequency that has been like awakened within. This is somebody that with that spontaneous spiritual awakening, they may have also had like kundalini awakening, heart chakra activation, third eye chakra activation, crown chakra activation, things that at first this person might have been like, okay, what's happening to me? I feel weird. This feels different. They've looked through all possible options in terms of very mundane or sort of physical explanations, and they are now at a point of looking towards the spiritual, because nothing seemed to kind of like satisfy the requirements of something being wrong with them. And so they're now looking at, okay, so maybe this is a situation of something actually going right. Something is happening to me on a spiritual level. Something is happening to me on an energetic level. And it feels like something that even if you haven't talked about such things as you've experienced them in your own life with this person, they kind of can sense or understand that it's like, you may be a little bit further ahead on your spiritual journey than them. You've walked some kind of path or have some kind of knowledge of such things. And so it feels like they're leaning on you at this particular point in time as they are trying to find answers, as they're trying to like go with the flow of this process, as they are kind of experiencing this adventure in an energetic sense, feeling these kind of heavy or dense feelings in order to kind of clear space for that light, for that levity, to uplift them into an embodiment of that higher plane, higher polarity of frequency. Overall, this is somebody who feels better now that they have opened their mind or their perspective to things beyond just kind of like, okay, you've come into my life, everything feels different and weird, maybe there's something wrong with that. Like now that they've opened their mind to the idea of like, maybe this is some kind of activation that has happened, maybe this is something that is for my best interest, maybe I'm changing for the better, or it's an opportunity to kind of think outside the box to find solutions, to find answers. Because they've put their attention towards that, it feels like this is somebody who is more easily able to go with the flow of this process. It is something that they are, kind of becoming that light at the end of the tunnel for themselves. And so this is something that they're also able to kind of like trace back to you. You are anchoring in through your own spiritual practices, your own self-care practices, work that you've done in terms of like shadow work, healing, kind of your own personal journey up to this point in time. You carry all those codes that this person is sort of like recognizing in an increasingly conscious level that aligns with something inside of them that has now awakened. So this is somebody that recognizes like, yeah, love is possible between the two of you, but it is the reality of that is like a higher level love. And for anyone that's gone through like a process of ascension or maybe an ongoing process of ascension, it can take its toll upon oneself. It can be scary when it first happens, when you don't know what is going on. And so it feels like this is somebody that has gone through that full range of feeling, that full range of kind of like feeding into the fear, that may attribute to moments of sort of like stillness or where they pull their energy back, where they're a bit cautious, kind of like, okay, I think this is, something different. I think this might be good, but I'm not really sure. Let me just observe this. You'll know though when this person leans back in, when this person kind of, breaches that sort of threshold of their own energetic capacity to embody light within their physicality, within their being, within their essence. as you continue to rise and raise your frequency. This person is also rising and raising their frequency. It feels like together in the higher realms, your higher selves are actively working to help the two of you to kind of lift yourselves beyond kind of the particular octave that you are operating at in the material world prior to, you coming into contact with one another and you being the catalyst for this person's spiritual awakening. Not because you were just meant to be their catalyst and you go your separate ways, but because there is a real probability here for a successful, higher level love anchored into the material plane that may be manifested for the purpose of, exposing the two of you to such an experience. It could be the rewards for, efforts that you each have made to kind of like choose yourself, even when it was difficult or, painful or negative experiences you've had in the past. This could be a form of reciprocity on the part of the universe, something good to kind of offset the things that weren't so good that you experienced. There may also be something that is part of like a purpose for this love for the two of you, something you are supposed to model to others, energetically speaking, or different sorts of things that you may do or develop or create or kind of like share with others through your partnership, like in a non-romantic way. There may be some kind of calling for the two of you, something you're supposed to align, something you're supposed to do together. It could be a combination of those things. But it feels like it's the type of thing where there's a lot that is kind of encouraging this person to continue to remain optimistic that these changes are for the better. And the more that they kind of like face their fears, they go through this experience of this ascension, they reach for you, they keep their sights set on you. They go with the flow of this process as they're experiencing it to the best of their ability. The better they feel, the more clarity they have, the more in alignment with an aspect of them that prior to your arrival, they never even considered this aspect as existing within or being something that they were capable of. Now that is something that takes on a greater degree of reality than it did before. And this is something that this person looks at overall as a very positive experience. Their higher self is giving them a lot of positive reinforcement, positive encouragement. They're getting a lot of signs and synchronicities that are encouraging them to stay the course in this situation. So this is something that it feels like there's steady progression between the two of you. This is somebody that really wants romance with you, but they are also aware that it is about, at least at this point in time, more than just kind of like expressing their feelings, making those intentions known, taking action steps forward, that kind of their enthusiasm in that regard, they need to sort of wait for, an energetic process to kind of reach its place of completion, a series of upgrades that this person is going through personally and energetically in order to be able to align with you at that kind of higher frequency, so that the two of you can anchor in and, truly experience for yourselves that higher level love here in the material world. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.